just be honest, this was the greatest interview of all time.
This is Donovan Copley from Hot Water.
Hi, I'm Kerry Miller.
Hey, I'm Ross from Prime Circle.
Love RTL.
My new addiction.
Let me not just talk about it. Let me show you in the back of the window where I'm at.
Cabinet has decided to place the entire country on alert level 2.
No, thank you for getting me out of bed this morning.
Informative.
Relevant.
Diverse.
Interactive.
So educational.
Fantastic.
Super fulfilling.
I think most of the time in South Africa, certainly provincial cricket, they might as well play because there's no spectators going to watch anyway.
The hugging, shaking of hands, and kissing is a thing of the past.
And then overnight into Thursday, we're expecting that cold front to spread showers into most.
Playlist is incredible.
Love the music.
Best music. Entertaining. So entertaining. Entertaining.
They wanted radio people because radio people can basically talk shit when things go wrong.
A sight that just a few weeks ago seemed scarcely possible. Eden Park is back in business, a capacity...
No, but seriously, on a serious note, I think I actually swiped right for you the one day when I saw you. I don't know.
You didn't.
But you wouldn't know.
And I love the dress. If I tell you, I didn't wear a bra, that was so good.
Splashdown.
As you can see on your screen, we have visual confirmation for Splashdown.
I will try to fix you.
You guys are the lifeblood of what's left of this music industry.
And of course, Noel Johnson. We love your sexy legs. Especially because of Noel Johnson. Jeez, that man is sexy.
Thank God for RTL SA.
You are a star.
RTL SA.
Home of legends.
That's right, and like I said, Long John joining me tonight, and I don't think he quite knows what he's getting himself into. Dude, you had me nervous for a second there. Do you, literally pop in on the last second?
Oh, really? Wow. I thought it was I was supposed to join at 8:30 or something.
No. You had me a little nervous there, I won't lie, because literally,
okay.
that promo was supposed to end and then you were supposed to be on and you literally came on in the middle of that 30-second promo. So 15 seconds.
Oh, wow, that's good.
Good on you. Dude, thank you so much for making the time to join us on RTL. We are very excited to have you on the show, and very privileged to have somebody that is followed by Steve Harvey. Really, the Steve Harvey.
Yeah, man, I'm blessed. I'm just blessed, man.
No, that's not blessed. That is testimony to the character and the comedian that you actually are.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Listen, I played your piece from the Goliaths show on my show on Friday. Because on Fridays I do what you call a bad joke Friday. So it's all about comedy, and I feature a comedian, and you were my featured comedian this past Friday. Let me tell you something. My audience went berserk. They absolutely loved that piece.
Really?
True story.
That sounds great, man. Wow. I'm glad they liked it.
No, they loved it. But I've got to ask you a question, though. Okay. I've got a few questions for you. This is an interview, so there's a few questions. But I was looking at your biog, right? And there's a line in the biog that really gripped me. Okay. So I'm going to read it back to you, and you got to sort of expand on it a little bit. Okay. So it was, he was laughed at for being tall, dark, and squint. However, his humor has been able to bring laughs to thousands of people whilst keeping an eye on the rest of the world.
Exactly. You get it.
I did. It was
That's
incredible.
Exactly what That's it, man. Because a biography for a comedian has to be fun. I had to write this myself. That's the thing.
You mean you don't have script writers that do your biogs and stuff like that for you?
Yeah, I had to do it myself because I wanted to be funny. I wanted to be me. So yeah, that was me right there.
It wasn't just funny; it was incredibly smart.
Thank you so much, man. That Zimbabwean education didn't go and like.
No, exactly. You said you were uneducated. That's fine. We're good with that.
Exactly.
Let's climb into your character a little bit, okay? Because obviously, Long John is a stage name. Tell us a little bit about how that happened and what it's all about. Because I'm assuming, from what I've seen from you, is that you're bloody tall.
Yeah, I am extremely tall. I'm long, not tall.
Long.
There's a difference. So the thing is, my nickname was Long John. Actually, my cousins started calling me Long John, and the whole family, and then my friends, and then it just got out of hand. So I remember when I was backstage, the host was like, so what do you want me to call you? I was like, just introduce me as Long John. And that's when it started. It was just Long John from there.
It just stuck. Now I've got to give you
just like that.
I've got to give you some congratulations right in the beginning of the show, because recently you got a really nice award, a nice international award from Atlanta, USA.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yes. Well, I got approached by a company called Shift Drinks in Atlanta, and they loved my material online, and they're like, please submit to for this award to be considered. So I did submit it against a lot of international comedians from Asia, from Canada, from Europe, everywhere, and then I won the best stand-up comedy award, which is just amazing. It's a sign that I'm ready for the world. That's it for me.
And I saw on your social media that you said America's calling. Is America calling? Are you on your way there? Are you going? What's the story?
It's calling, but Corona is like, wait, stop. Where are you going? Corona is just stopping me. But if it wasn't for Corona, I would be opening for Steve Harvey around America right now.
I was just about to ask you, when you go to the States, are you going to sleep on Steve's couch?
Oh, yeah. He's kind of like a mentor right now. Like, it's amazing to have someone, like you on your side, like him on your side, which is amazing.
100%. But did you, have you met him yet?
Yes, I did.
Did you meet him when he was in South Africa?
Such an amazing guy. Yes. I actually had to spend the whole day with him, just watching him record and just asking him questions, just to learn from him. And it was so eye-opening. And he said something to me that stuck. He just said, I think you would do amazing in America. That's when I was like, America is definitely calling me.
You gotta go. Let me ask you a question about Steve Harvey. I don't want to spend too much time talking about a lesser comedian than yourself, but I do have to ask. I have to ask you this question about. Do you know about the book he wrote? What was it called? It was quite a serious book. It was about relationships and how men should behave towards women. It became a world.
I've read something along those lines, but I've never read that actually.
No. Okay, cool. I've got the book. I haven't read it yet because I don't read. I hate reading. It was tough enough reading your biography.
Wow.
No, your biography was easy reading, well written. No, but I haven't read the book yet, but there was a movie that they made about that book. And and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because now you got to spend some time with the man. And as funny as what he is, this book was so deep and insightful, and the movie portrayed exactly that. What I wanted to ask you, though, in the time that you spent with him, did you get that from him as well? Did you find that he was really deep and serious as well?
Yes, 100%. There's so much to learn from him. Like the wisdom, like it's just so amazing to just listen to him. I could spend hours just listening to him, sitting down with him, because he has learned a lot in this industry, in life. Because the thing about comedy is it's all about learning, and then you talk about what you've learned. So as a comedian, you research, you seek knowledge, and you can see that he does that. every single time he's always seeking knowledge and he's always giving the knowledge, which is amazing.
Yeah. I got the idea that he
Yeah.
likes to share, and he's very happy to offer
yeah,
advice and things like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And we had something in common, because the thing is, with him, he didn't really do well in school, like me. That's why happily an educator. That's where it comes from. You see. So we're talking about that, and it's so amazing, man.
Well, you know what they say: guys that don't do well at school become actors, comedians, or radio presenters.
Oh yeah, yeah, I see what you did, man. That's it right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Where did it all begin for you? Because I mean, you're Zimbabwean, and we're going to talk about Zimbabwe a little later. We won't get into that just yet, but you obviously grew up in rural Zimbabwe, I assume. And how did you find yourself hanging out with Steve Harvey and performing comedy on some of the biggest stages?
So the thing is, it all starts with a dream, you know. It starts with a dream. I remember the first time I watched comedy. I fell in love with comedy the first time I watched it. I remember my grandfather was stressed on where to get food, because those days things were tough. There was no money, there was no food in the shops, so he was just stressed. And then as soon as he turned on the TV, he just started laughing. So as a kid, I didn't understand. I was like, how does a guy that is stressed laugh like that? So I just fell in love with how it made my grandfather laugh, you know, how it made him feel. I was like, I want to do that. I want to be able to do that. So from there, I started researching. I started watching a lot of comedy, trying to understand. And then I actually decided to become a comedian. Like the first time I decided to become a comedian was after a math exam.
A math exam.
You know your first math. You know your first math, and you go like, you know what? I think I'm funny, guys.
Yeah.
What am I doing here?
Because there's absolutely nothing funny about a math exam.
And then there's nothing funny about a math exam. So that's the thing. I was like, okay, this is not for me, but I want to do comedy. So from there, I started learning about it, and then I went to Harare for the first time in my life. That's when I started performing comedy. But that was booed. The first time I performed.
Really?
Booed, like a guy threw a chair on stage while I was performing.
Oh no!
That kind of boo. It was bad. I don't want to lie. It was bad. Okay. But the thing is, I had fell in love with it so much that I wasn't willing to give it up just as like quickly like that. I wanted to keep doing it. I wanted to learn about it. So I kept on coming back to the same stage, dying. We call it dying every night until I discovered myself as a comedian. You see, as a person and as a comedian. You see, that's when it all started.
What does it take to discover yourself as a comedian? How long does it take? What process do you have to go through?
It's very tough. Yeah, it's very scary because you have to dig in places that people don't want to go, like about themselves. You have to go into the good, the bad, and the evil. Everywhere you have to know yourself. And the more you discover yourself, the better you become a comedian. That's where the Village Boy comes from. I have another show called The Village Boy where I talk about my village, how I grew up and stuff like that. You know, it all comes from that place. You know, like every great comedy comes from the real place, from the heart. You see, so it's all about discovering who you are.
Now, you grew up in Chimani, right?
Yes, there's no money. We are broke. We are just
no money. No money.
no money. No money.
Whereabouts in Zimbabwe is it?
It's in Manicaland. I don't know if you know where that is. We're actually close to the border of Mozambique.
Okay.
We can actually, if you turn on the radio, you can actually get Mozambican stations speaking Portuguese. That's how close we are to Mozambique.
What do you mean they've still got radios in Zimbabwe?
It's money. Like the radio is like the entertainment, especially in the rural places. Yeah. Radio is like the entertainment. So yeah, that's it. Radio.
I don't think South Africans quite understand what rural is a lot of the times until you go to a place like Zimbabwe, and rural is rural.
There are some rural places.
Can you give us a bit of insights into what it was growing up in a rural spot like that?
Well, now you need to understand that my village is different. So the thing is, it was a village
apparently,
for what?
Apparently, you guys got a traffic light.
One, and the cycle took it away. We don't have it anymore. So, so my village was different because it was a village that was created for the white people, for the British. You see. So now what happened was, when the farm invasion happened, all the white people ran away, right? And then black people moved in. So it's like this small little town with rural areas around it, you see. So people from far away go to this little town with 2 shops. It's a town with 2 shops. You see.
And what do they sell at those shops?
Sorry?
What do they sell at those shops?
Oh yeah, just there's a little bar and there's a little shop where they sell bread and some cooking oil and stuff like that.
There's got to be a bar. There has to be a bar.
there has to be a bar. Definitely. It's like that. So it's a mix of there is electricity, there is Wi-Fi, there's stuff like that, and there's the rural areas around it. So I had 2 experiences in one, which is amazing.
Now you joke in that comedy piece in the Goliaths scene where you spoke about the Uber being a horse and carriage type of idea and stuff like. Is it really like that?
Yeah. So you have someone randomly just walking past you, like in the street with a donkey, and you're like, what's going on? It's like that. So there's cars. There's amazing cars, and there's that. There's just 2 things at once. It's so confused. You have no idea.
And when a donkey gets to a red robot, what happens?
When you wanna indicate you have to do this, like I'm doing this, like sorry.
Okay, so you grew up in a rural town. How much influence did you have when it came to comedy, things like that? I suppose there's more exposure in South Africa than there would be in Zimbabwe. But how did you get your influence, your inspiration there?
So it was through TV. It was all TV. My grandfather had this small black and white TV. This TV was so small, you had to close one eye to actually see the TV. Because if you open both eyes, the other eye is looking at the room divider and the other eye is looking at the TV. So it was that small. Yeah, so we used to watch Bill Cosby on that little small TV. So that was it. That's where it all started right there. Okay. But performing now, it was different now. Because back then there was no stand-up comedy. And in my village, nobody knows about stand-up comedy and whatsoever. So I had to go to the big city, to Harare, and try it out. You see, although it was not there yet, it was there, but it wasn't that mature. You understand? So we were also growing with the audience. You see, I was also learning, and the audience was also learning. So it was an experience.
Now, you mentioned Bill Cosby. How disappointed were you when, obviously, the news broke of his escapades, so to say?
I knew you were going to ask that. I had a feeling when I said Bill Cosby is going to ask this question.
I wasn't going to ask the question, but you brought it up.
But I just had a feeling. So the thing is with me is I always had to separate the artist and the person and the art. You see, separate the person and the art. He's a great comedian. Amazing. He's brilliant. Like he was on that level that I've always wanted to be, that I'm working to be. You understand? So every time when I watch, I want to be that. You see? So on his life, what he did, I don't care. It's his life. I don't care. But he was amazing. That he inspired me to become a comedian that I am today. You see?
Now, you mentioned that, and this is quite interesting, and I'm glad this conversation has gone this way, because this is a real deep question.
Definitely.
Do you feel that people judge you as a comedian or as a human being? Do they see the separation, or do they actually just put it all in one?
No, it's all in one. So people expect me to be crazy all the time because I'm always crazy on stage and on my videos, and then they expect me to be that when they meet me. But the thing is, I'm very quiet. I don't like talking too much. I think a lot. I observe. The only place I talk is on stage. That's where I share what I'm seeing. You see, so people cannot really seem to separate me and Long John. You get it? So they always think I'm funny, especially women. Women, they think, "Oh, he's so funny. I want to be his girlfriend." No, I have problems like everybody else.
Well, you know what they say: if you make a woman laugh, it's like a panty dropper.
Yes, but afterwards you are broke together. Or say, you will laugh, but you will laugh hungry.
Now, obviously, when I was doing a bit of research and whatever, I see you traveled all over. And I picked up a piece, I think you were in, was it Kenya at the time, when you did that TV piece where you did the Robert Mugabe impersonation? Was it Kenya?
It was in Kenya, in Nairobi. It was in Nairobi.
That was brilliant. And obviously it wasn't prepared or scripted or anything like that. And,
it wasn't.
You just threw it out there on live TV. What makes you do things like that? What makes you do things like that?
I just have fun. That's the thing. With comedy, comedy is not a job. You have to understand. It's just a lifestyle. You're just enjoying yourself. You see. So with me, it was just in the moment. So they were just like, so I don't know what they asked me exactly, but it just hit me. I was like, oh, I can do an impression and then pretend and sleep afterwards.
Because I watched the whole interview, and I think they were starting to get a bit serious and wanted to talk about Mugabe and Zimbabwe.
Yes,
and you like, whoa, stop the bus.
Well, I'm going to make this a light piece. That's the thing. Because back then it was still serious, man.
Yeah.
You couldn't talk about that, you understand? So I was trying to, to make fun of the, not him, but you know what I'm saying?
Now,
that was it, man.
You've traveled all over Africa, pretty much, doing comedy and stuff like that. What is it like doing comedy in? And I might be very, it's like sort of dangerous saying what I'm about to say, but South Africa.
Say it.
South Africa is very separate to the rest of Africa. Okay. And
I actually said that in my set. Yeah.
Yeah. And we actually got a way more advanced comedy scene in this country. But it's hard to believe that there's a lot of comedy in the rest of Africa. What is it like in the rest of Africa?
There is so much comedy. Like, it's crazy. When I started traveling, I was like, what was I doing in South Africa all this time? I could have been traveling all over. There's so much comedy, and each country has something to offer. Each country is, like, you need to understand that as soon as you cross the border, it's a different world. There's different cultures, different things, different TV, different radio. You know what I'm saying? So there's something totally different. The people think differently. So there's another type of comedy in every single country you go to. And that comedy people don't even know about. You see, that comedy. If you're in South Africa and you're performing comedy and you ask someone that, hey, do you know any comedian in Kenya? They won't even know one comedian.
Not one, yeah.
You see, there's so much comedy, not even one, but there's so much comedy. There's a show I performed in Kenya called Chechu Show. I was performing for over, I think it was over 4,000 people at once. It was a concert, but it's comedy. Imagine. Like a music show, but it's just comedy.
South African comedians wish they had 20 people in their crowd, let alone 4,000.
Exactly. You see, although it's more advanced, although it's more international, but when you travel around Africa and you start discovering that, no, man, we have our own type of comedy that needs to be out there. You see?
Now, when you travel to places like Kenya or wherever you go in Africa, do you write comedy specific for your audience that you're going to see in Kenya? Do you have to research that, or?
So the thing is, I'm glad you actually asked that, because the thing is, with me, I had to discover there's a gray line, you see. So in Zimbabwe or in South Africa, it's either you go into the local stuff, or you joke about things that are just local. That if you travel outside of South Africa, nobody will understand. Or you go international, and South Africans say, you're too out there. So I had to find this gray line where you can be local, but also in a global way. You see. So that's where I'm at right now. I can talk about things that a South African, a Zimbabwean, a Kenyan, a Ugandan, a Nigerian, an American can relate to. You see, I'm local but global.
How difficult is it?
Where
I get exactly what you're saying. How difficult is it to transform your comedy show to be relatable to a global audience?
It's difficult when you start traveling for the first time, but when you get used to it, it's easy. It gets easier and easier. Because I remember I had to do a tour around Africa. So this week I'm in Kenya, and then I traveled to Rwanda. So you need to just research, talk to the people, see what's happening. So I was actually in the streets talking to people. Hey man, so what's going on around here? And they talk about oh yeah, we're doing this. Guns are now illegal. Guns are now legal here in Rwanda. And I'm like, but it doesn't make sense because plastic are illegal. So which means they can arrest you for carrying your gun in a plastic bag. You see, stuff like that. You see, you just talk to the people, understand what's happening. You see, okay. And then that's it. That's your comedy.
Right, we're gonna take a little music break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit about Zimbabwe, and we're gonna talk about your future plans and things like that. But I do want you to think about something. All right.
Okay.
All right. I want you to think a little bit about, had you been a comedian 30 years ago? Okay. I'm just going to leave that with you. Okay.
But okay, I'll do that. Okay, that's good.
And you'll see where we're going to go with this when I come back.
All right.
Long John, have you heard that song before?
No. I'll say no. I haven't heard it before. This is the first time ever.
It's brand spanking new. All right, from Nigeria, and it's becoming a favorite in South Africa. Quite honestly, it's actually climbing quite nicely in all the charts and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I can see why.
What are your thoughts on Jerusalem? Can you do the dance?
God. You know what? Right now, I've heard that song everywhere. Now I'm tired. I'm just tired. I don't want to hear it anymore.
But it's global. It's like you, global.
Global, but come on, everywhere. If I get into taxi, Jerusalem. If I'm at home, Jerusalem. Everywhere, it's Jerusalem.
Now listen,
guys.
I want you to spare a thought for me for a second. Who's a DJ? Okay. Do you know how many times I get that song requested? I literally want to.
Can you get Jerusalem? Hey, that's too much. I'm tired. I know. I think you should ban the song as South Africa.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, I've got a voice note that came through now. All right, listen to this.
All right.
Tell John, Long John, my nerves are finished.
What did you say? My what?
I'll play it again. Daniel says,
my nerves are finished.
Well, he should come to my shows, and then you get out of the show in an ambulance. Okay.
Let me tell you something about Daniel. He is a character of note, and he's become such a character on the show. That's why I even made a sting that I can fire.
My nerves are finished.
Anytime I want to.
Every time.
But okay, no, but he did say this.
No, I think that book was What Women Want. There was a good movie about it as well, about the same thing. It was actually very good. No, okay. I think that...
Now, okay, stop it, Daniel. Enough now. Okay, now
I know the book.
He got it wrong. He got it right, but he got it wrong. Because what actually came through, and Bev sent me a message saying the book was called Act Like a Woman, Think Like a Man. And Bev is quite correct. And then they did... Yeah, that's the book Steve Harvey wrote. Act like a woman,
Oh,
think
yeah.
like a man.
And then there's a movie. I watched all the movies, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they made a movie about it as well.
Yeah.
So when are you making a movie?
Well, it depends what type are you talking about.
Any movie. Okay, let me ask you this question.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Let's say now you're already quite famous, but you come like super famous, like Bill Cosby famous. All right. Now,
I'm not. What are you talking about? Who lied to you?
Okay, but let's say you're Bill Cosby famous. Obviously, he can't do it because he is behind bars. Who plays you? Which actor plays you in that movie?
Is me or is Bill? What do you mean?
As you.
In my movie.
Yeah.
In my movie.
About you, yeah. Your biography.
Because the thing is, my God, that's so tough. I've never thought of that. Because I've always, every time when I see a movie about me, I see me in it.
No, but I can tell you this match. No, you have to choose an actor. I can tell you this match. It won't be a white guy.
Obviously. Like, come on. I mean, okay, let's see. Man, that's so tough. That is so tough.
Come on.
I've never thought of that.
I would
have, but yeah.
I would have Samuel L. Jackson.
You know that guy. You know what I was about to say. I was about to say, have you watched that movie about this Somalian guy that says, "Listen, I'm the captain now."
Yes.
You know that guy.
Yeah,
that's the guy right there.
That's the guy.
That's the guy right there.
That guy.
I'm the captain now.
I can't remember his name, but he became super famous because of that role.
Exactly, and then he just went like this.
Yeah, well, obviously the movie lost its impetus, but he was great though.
Yeah, man. If it was me, I would have taken that road, like keep building up, become
100%.
famous.
But apparently, I was watching a documentary about him a while back, and he went to the States and he tried to make it as an actor, and he didn't. He didn't.
That's what happens all the time.
Yeah, I think he was
there to make it.
He was perfect for that role, but they found it very difficult to cast him into other roles. So,
yeah, that's true.
That's true. Dreams. Are you worried about going overseas and chasing your dreams and it fails? Are you worried about that?
The thing is, I had to learn not to fear failure. That's the thing about me. I actually, the thing is, if you fail, you learn. Failure is your greatest teacher. So if you fail, you learn about it, you learn more about it, and you go back and do it better. So for me, I'm going there to learn. I want to learn. I want to see. I want to, just see what happens there, the industry. I want to learn, and then if I fail, I can always go back and do it again.
No, well,
exactly.
You fail until you make it. That's the bottom line. There's no stopping.
That's the thing.
Okay.
I had to learn that at a very young age.
If you were a comedian 30 years ago in Zimbabwe, obviously things are a little different now.
Yeah.
If you were a comedian 30 years ago, not even 30, let's make it 20 just for shits and giggles.
20. Okay.
How would you have written comedy about Zimbabwe in that period?
That's a very tough question. Okay, let's see.
I told you I was going to put
20
you on the
years ago,
spot.
what was this? Yeah. So okay, 20 years ago, what was this period? Was this the period of what period was this again?
Well, like late 90s, 2000s, early 2000s.
Early 2000s. Okay, it was going to be so different because Mugabe was in power, and obviously back then things were still okay-ish. 2000, things were still okay-ish, but I don't know, man. I have no idea because I wasn't in that way of thinking 20 years ago. You see, I wasn't But the way I would write my comedy, definitely in comedy, there's always one way of saying one thing, okay? So during the farm invasion, during all those periods, I would have talked about it, but in another way. You see, that's the thing. That's actually how comedy in Zimbabwe is like.
Yeah.
You see, so every time when you're about to talk about the president, even the president right now, we can talk about him, but not directly. You go indirect. That actually became our signature comedy. Like you always talk about him, but in another way, indirect, and people know what you're talking about, but you know.
The reason I ask is because 20 years ago, you could have got into a lot of trouble being a comedian.
Oh yeah, even now, man. Even now. I once got in trouble. Actually, a lot of times, comedians always get in trouble. When you talk about the government, when you talk about the president, or anything like that, get in trouble. I remember at a festival, I talked about Mugabe, and the police came backstage. And they were actually about to arrest me. But it's Zimbabwe. We bribed them. That's how it works. You bribe everything. You just bribe.
I bet
I actually got in trouble a lot of times.
I bet you there's a few international journalists that wish they knew that.
Oh yeah. Oh, if you bribe, you are friends.
Okay. On a serious note now, talking about Zimbabwe. Obviously, a few years ago, Mugabe was sent out to pasture and things like that. And Emerson came in, and I've covered it a few times in my daytime show because my daytime show is very newsy and things like that. So I've covered it a few times about how difficult it is in Zimbabwe today. And a lot of people are saying that it's no different under Emerson than what it was under Roberts. What are your thoughts?
Oh
on
yeah,
that?
it's not different. It's not about the individual. It's not about the individual. It's the whole system. Everyone. If you need to change that country, like we need to just flush out everybody because there's so much corruption and it's a thing in Zimbabwe. Like you know, in every country there's corruption, but the difference now is in America, if there's $20 to build the country, obviously someone will eat like $2 of that money. But in Zimbabwe, if there's $20 to build a country, we will eat $15 and let $5 build the country. You see? So that's the problem right there. And everybody's trying to eat. Everybody's eating something. So you can never say anything to them. Right now. So it's just crazy.
If you, and I ask this question quite often when I'm talking to an individual on Monday Madness, and I like sort of try and put them into the shoes of the leadership. And if you were president, Long John of Zimbabwe,
yes.
nice way. What would your solution be?
That's a tough question. Okay, my solution definitely is there's so many young gifted people in Zimbabwe that are willing to contribute a lot in this country, right? A lot, and we have so many resources. We have diamond, we have gold, we have so much, and everything is being sold to the Chinese for the benefit of the people in government. You see, people are still eating. And we have so much land that we can do agriculture. Zimbabwe can become so self-sustaining that we don't need anything else. So what I would change is definitely getting more young people into the government, because this is our future. You see, it's not the future of the old people in power right now. Get those young people that has a vision into TV. TV right now, there's old people and they're still doing the old things. It's still analog. And into the arts, into agriculture, into like everything. Get those young people in, and the country will start building. You see for yourself. these old people in this government right now, they'll still do the same thing over and over. Even if you change presidents, even if you do that, that's the thing.
So you reckon young blood? That's the solution.
Obviously young blood, definitely. For me, it's young blood. You should see the arts industry. The reason why I'm in South Africa right now is because the arts industry is so bad, and arts industry can contribute a lot to the economy, a lot, and nobody sees that because they're old school. You get it. And there's so much.
Last week on Monday Madness, I had South African theatre actor, been around for a long time, Tommy Holstausen on the show, and he said something interesting. He said they should make a rule that once you get to 70, you're not allowed to do politics anymore. And that was coming from
definitely. Definitely. I definitely agree to that.
But you see,
that's true. Because,
here's the thing, though. America's going to the polls next week. Both the Democrat and the Republican nominee are in their 70s.
Exactly, man. It's so crazy. What's up with old people? Who made this rule that old people they're the only ones that can become president?
Okay.
And during Trump's run, America felt like an African country. Like, hey, you can tell. Like, this is what African presidents do. Everything that Trump was doing. we could relate to, like, which country is this?
Oh, brilliant. Oh, yeah. Do you write much comedy about Donald Trump?
No, not yet.
When you get to the States, you will.
If I go to the States, definitely. I'll definitely talk about it in my own perspective as an African. Because to us as Africans, we're like, but look, it's normal. Look what it's doing. That's what all they do here in Africa. What are you talking about?
So do you think Donald Trump would have fitted in quite nicely in any African country?
Oh, yes, definitely. He's the perfect African president. You have no idea. He would fit in with the Mugabes, with the Musevenis, with everybody.
But I must disagree with you on that note, because his wife is pretty damn hot.
No, but no, let's say the black Donald Trump. Let's just say that. Obviously, no African country is voting for a white president right now. We are just not ready. We are not ready. We are not.
Do you think, now that you mention that, do you think that there will ever be a time in the next 100 years that we'll see a white president in an African country?
Yeah, things are moving fast. You can definitely see that one day. Definitely. Right? As you can see right now in Malawi, there's a black president with a white accent. That's close enough. You can see it's coming. It's close enough. It's coming. Next time, it's colored. And then you're like, okay, all right.
All right, where are you staying now? Are you still in Zimbabwe?
No, I'm based in Johannesburg. What I was saying is right now in Zimbabwe, the arts industry is bad. That we had to come here to South Africa to steal the jobs. So that's what we're doing right now.
I noticed in one of your comedy pieces you spoke about being in South Africa during the height of xenophobia.
Oh yeah, I was there. Like I was trying to be South African. I was trying so hard to look South African. I bought a sporty and those All Stars. I was doing the Pantula thing and the robots.
And then you figured out to fit in, all you have to do is use sign language.
Yes. Then you don't have an accent. And then they're like, I know he's one of us. Look at him.
What are your thoughts on how South Africa handled COVID-19?
We handled it like you need to understand that we were never ready about this COVID-19. We were not ready under whatsoever. Every other African country. And I think South Africa right now Right now, there should have been like restrictions, but now everything is normal. You can go to a club, you can dance, you can grind on each other, but there's still COVID-19. And the mistake that South Africa made was to say, oh, now you can go back to your jobs like it's over. Like, no, don't worry, it's over now. You see, and I think that was a mistake right there, because it's still out there, it's still killing people. You see,
I had a very serious show this morning, and my whole show was focused on COVID-19, not just in South Africa, but in the rest of the world. So I ran two pieces. I ran one about South Africa and one about the rest of the world, and how the second wave is literally gripping Europe at the moment and things like that.
Oh yeah, in UK they're back in lockdown. Yeah.
And then a piece came out where Minister Zikalala, who is the premier or the minister or the boss in KZN, I forget, his title is premier, I think. His title escapes me, but he was saying that a hard lockdown is very possible in South Africa again, because last week we hit the 2,000 mark a couple of days, and we've teetering around the 2,000 mark. Now, let me bring it back to you. As a comedian and an entertainer, and you were saying that South Africa lifted the lockdown too early, but how did the lockdown affect you as an entertainer? And should we go back to another hard lockdown? What do you think?
That's the thing. This question applies to everybody, like a lot of people, man. Because now, as an entertainer, I perform in live audiences, right? Right now, I can only perform at, half the capacity of a venue. You get 50 people in a 100-seater. It has affected me so much in terms of financially, because you don't have enough capital coming in. You see, obviously, you can never make money out of doing sketches and Zoom shows, you see. And also, at an artistic point of view, it has made me breathe more. Like, things are moving fast in my career, like super fast. I had time to breathe and say, okay, this is what I really want, you see. So financially, it was bad. It's still bad. And, artistically, it was more, like I can now create more. That's how I finished my show, Happily Uneducated. I finished that show in lockdown. I'm telling you, you see. So going back to lockdown would definitely, it would kill us as artists. Definitely.
No, absolutely.
I think the comedy industry will suffer so much, because the thing is, we don't know when it will end. And the thing about comedy is, the moment you stop doing it, and then you start doing it again, it's like you've started all over again. It's like a new thing now. So you need to rediscover your rhythm.
No,
that's
absolutely.
the problem.
I totally hear what you're saying, because the same thing happened with me, because I'm a musician, and obviously when we locked down, I got no work, and I've only just started working again. But even so, for lesser rates because of capacity in venues and things like that.
Yes.
And I was saying on my show today that us entertainers, and myself as a musician, and I got a little bit vulnerable on my show today, and I said, should we go into another hard lockdown? I do not personally think financially I will survive it. And being an established person in the industry, I still don't think I will survive it. What do you think? Because now I agree with you. Sorry, this is a long-winded question, but I agree with you what you were saying, because my career was revitalized as well during lockdown, and there's a lot of new opportunities and a lot of excitement going. But how do we now translate that into financial gain?
That's the thing. So it's all about adapting, man. You need to adjust. We need to find a way to just adapt to this situation, because it feels like it's going to be there for a long time and it's out of our hands. So we need to just adapt. That's why I was doing a lot of Zoom shows. I've done quite a lot of online shows. At first it was tough, but now it's now getting easier and easier. You see, But financially, we are dying out here.
We are.
So that's the thing. So with me now, I don't just do one thing. You see, I don't just do one thing. I'm also a graphic designer on the side. I have a company that I'm running, graphic designing. I do directing and stuff like that. So that's what I've been doing. You see, I'm lucky enough that I realized that if I rely on comedy only, what if it stops? I had that feeling like last year or 2 years back. So I just started this thing, graphic designing and things on the side that gives me money. So during this lockdown, I've been doing that, and it's been really working out. So as artists, we need to become business people. We need to become businessmen and actually think outside the box and actually sponsor our art with things that we do around.
Well, I'm very glad that you had a skill that you could fall back on during lockdown. I had to sell cigarettes.
That's a wonderful skill. That's a wonderful skill.
It was a skill. Doing it under the table.
Exactly.
All right, listen. I know that you've got a lot of shows coming up now, going forward. Tell us a little bit about what you're getting up to in the next couple of weeks, months, heading towards the end of the year.
So great. Wonderful enough, I'm doing a show in Durban at Westville at the German Club.
I'm coming to see you there. I'm going to be there. I will see you there.
Perfect. It will be Halloween. You can come up dressed up as anything, any costume, and I'll come dressed up as a Zimbabwean looking for a job. That's just how I'm going to dress. And so it's going to be amazing. Tickets are there on Quicket. You can buy them for 120 rands. It's going to be amazing, guys. And I'm going to be doing this show because initially this show, Happily Uneducated, it's a new show. And next year, I want to do something great about it. I want to take it to Zimbabwe, and I want to start a conversation about our educational system, how it needs to evolve, because it failed me as a student, as a young kid. It failed me, so I want to shed a light to that, to start that conversation. So I want to create a documentary / stand-up comedy thing. So it starts from 31, this week.
Okay, and then okay. If I've got my information correct, you will still be in Durban for another show next week.
Yes, next week. Yes,
at Altitude.
I'll be performing. Sorry,
I think at Altitude is the club where you're going to be performing next week.
Yes, right there. Yeah, that's true. And I'll be performing with Bongani Dube. He's another great comedian.
Now, funny enough. Now, I was talking about Tommy Horsthausen, who was my guest on my show last week. He owns that club.
Yeah. It was meant to be. It was meant to be.
It's a small world.
It's a small world. It's amazing.
Okay, and then going a little bit beyond now, have you got any idea when you want to go to the States and what you're thinking in that line?
So the thing is, right now, I had an idea of, I actually knew exactly when I was going to the States before COVID, because Steve Harvey had actually booked me to open for him around USA. So now I have no idea, because I don't know when they'll open up, those international flights. So I'm just waiting to see if it will end, and if they'll open up. If they open up, that I'm going as soon as possible, because it's been calling me.
Tell me something. Have you got Steve Harvey on speed dial? Or you like WhatsApp buddies?
No comment, because I don't want people approaching me in my inbox and saying, can you give me Steve Harvey's number? I want to. But something like that, yes.
Keep it in the family.
Yes.
Listen, Long John. Yeah. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show. And I want to tell you something quickly before we go.
It's fun, man. Yeah.
Before we go. I normally play 3 songs in the hour during a segment like this. We did 1.
You okay?
We did 1.
Wow.
You know what that means? It means you're a bloody interesting character.
Oh, you ran out of songs. Yeah, maybe. One of those things.
I must have run out of songs. I'm even playing songs from Nigeria.
Like, which country should we play? Thank you so much, man. This was fun.
Do you sing? I just want to find out when you're in Durban. Maybe you and I should go do some karaoke.
I sing, but alone in the shower when no one is listening.
You know what they say about the shower? The acoustics are amazing.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. The auto-tune is it's amazing. It makes you like Beyonce.
Exactly.
Oh God.
Long John, we look forward to seeing your name in lights. I do believe, based on what I've seen from you and now after interacting with you today as well, that you do have a bright future ahead of you, and Steve Harvey is going to have to take a back seat to you one day.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate those words.
All right, you have a good one, and I'll catch you on Saturday here in Durban at the German Club, and tickets available at Quicket for 120, eh?
Yes.
120.
120 Rand.
You got to catch the show, and the show is called Happily Uneducated.
Uneducated, yes.
There we go. Joining us tonight, it was an absolute pleasure to have the comedian extraordinaire himself, Long John, in the house.
You're listening to Monday Madness.
Okay, first of all, I want to do Robert Mugabe impression.
Join me this coming Monday night as international award-winning comedian Long John joins me for Monday Madness. We get to know what makes him tick and how he formulates his funny stuff.
I swear, my right eye was looking at you, and my left eye was looking for you.
This coming Monday night, 8 p.m.
Monday Madness.
RDLSA.